been practicing. Cecil's class Saturday scared me. How about you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was so frustrated when it was over. I told him, I said, you know, you can teach me to listen and learn jazz and figure out chords, but I'm not hearing this. I'm not getting it. I am a different kind of a learner, I think. I'm not a audio learner. I don't know why, but if I'm listening to music, I can't really tell you what it is that's going on. I can't recognize the chords. I don't have the ability to just sit down and play without some kind of reasoning. Now, any of you in the same boat?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so last night I had an epiphany while I was practicing. And sometimes, because of the way I learn to play by ear, because I learn logically how to do it with the circle and watching the chords and paying attention to how they work. Now, in my chord book, we talk about how chords go. But this last night, this was way cool. And I taught it kind of one other time in this class. But this time, I think you're going to really get a kick out of this because it's very logical. And if you're watching on the internet, I don't think I've ever seen this in a book anywhere. But Greg said we got a comment, because we get a lot of comments from the videos on YouTube, from a mathematician, but I didn't get it. I didn't see it. Greg saw it. And he said it was a big, long explanation of how the chords work mathematically and the scales. And so he's going to try and find it so I can read it. But mathematically or not, the circle of chords and how everything works, the scales and all of the stuff, how it all evolved is amazing. So if you really dig, and you could get on the internet and find out, you know, which composers did what. But last week in Cecil's class, he talked about Bach and classical music and how Bach really is the study for jazz. And then he gave us one of Bach's inventions and told us to look at what was going on. It was a prelude and a fugue, and you know how they repeat and anyway, he told us to figure out the chords that Bach was thinking of when he wrote this piece. And most of us were having kind of a difficult time following him until he told us to take the right hand notes and draw them down to the left hand and then spell them. Okay. Well, if you can't spell chords, then you pretty much can't tell what chords you're playing. But last night, I'm sitting at the organ and I'm going, oh my gosh, there was like this big light bulb came on, and I wrote out a piece of paper that I think you're going to like. And when you see the paper, don't flip out, okay? Let me explain. First thing we're going to talk about is what we started last week. And we're going to do hands-on today in a few minutes. So just pay attention, and I don't want you to try and analyze this. Just watch, okay? And the explanation, if you're more into, you got to know why, is on the paper. Okay, so watch this. Look at the bottom on the left corner. There are 3 positions. If you're playing a melody and you're an ear player, most of you can play melodies, right? Can you pick out melodies?
Yes.
Okay, like Bye Bye Blues. Okay? And I should have written that song out. Maybe I'll give it to you next week. Bye Bye Blues. That's a good song for this. So let's say the first note of that song is C. And you want to put a chord with it. Alright? And you have no idea what chord to put with it. Here's how you can cheat. The first position that a chord can take is called a skip one, skip one. Don't analyze it. Don't think about it. Just do it. If you do that, to name the chord, what note would you name?
Okay.
The bottom note. It's an F chord. Okay? So, the first chord that you might try if you're playing by ear, if you're playing a C note, is in that first column. It's an F major chord. Okay? Got it? Shake your heads, yes. If it doesn't work, you take the bottom note and you drop it 1. Now I have a skip 1, skip 2. Remember how you named this chord? The note at the top of the biggest space is the name of the chord. What's the name of this note? A. Look at column number 2. The second position will be a minor chord. Always. Well, not always, but generally. Okay? The third position is to take the middle note, if that A minor doesn't sound good, and move it down 1. Now, the note at the top of the biggest space is here, right? What's the name of this note?
C.
C. All right, and that's a major chord. It's the same as the note. Correct? Right. Okay, so now look. If we draw the circle, and there's a big debate in the circle world. See, Cecil he has an amazing ear. He doesn't need the circle. I have to have it. So Saturday when I asked him about the circle, he kind of shoved me off and said, eh. And I went, sorry, but my ear, I have to have some logic in my repertoire. This is my logic. This is how I chart things. Okay? So B flat, E flat, A flat, and I know if you're watching on the internet, this might be backwards. You might be used to having G go this way, but trust me, this way works better. Okay, so look. Watch. C is the note in my melody. I have 3 choices of chords. You know from my book that every major chord has a relative minor chord, right? The relative minor is always at 9 o'clock, or 3 chords back. Okay? So C is the first chord. Look at column number 3. That's the third position, right? A minor is the second position, and 1 to the right, F, is the first position. Those are the 3 chords that go with a C note. Make sense?
Yes.
Now, this means I'm playing a melody, I'm just playing around, and I've got this note up here. Alright, I got a note, and I'm playing along, and I want to put a chord with it, and I don't know what to do. First thing I do is I try this. Okay, if that doesn't sound good to me, I drop the bottom note. Okay, the first note, skip 1 is always 1 to the right. If it doesn't sound good, I drop the bottom note and it goes down to the relative minor. And if it doesn't sound good, I drop the middle note and it goes back to the same chord as the note. Okay? So it's 1 to the right, 3 to the left, and then right back to the name of the note. All right? Now, let's try another one.